Hi, my name is Sara Valencia, and today we're going to be talking about Chapter 3, Components of the Cell Membrane. The cell membrane. The cell membrane is an extremely thin, flexible, and elastic that is also called plasma membrane. It separates two major fluid compartments, which are the intracellular fluid or cytosol within a cell and the extracellular fluid outside the cell. The cell membrane is selectively permeable, allowing some in while excluding other substances. The cell membrane is made up or includes of phospholipids, proteins, carbohydrates, and cholesterol. Phospholipids. The major components of the cell membrane is phospholipids, which are a type of lipid that makes up the cell membrane. Phospholipids are amphipathic, meaning they are hydrophilic, water-loving, and hydrophobic, water-hating. Hydrophilic, which is the head, are in contact with fluid both inside and outside of the cell. And hydrophobic, which is the tail, tend to be nonpolar. They interact with other nonpolar molecules in chemical reactions and do not interact with polar molecules. Its function is a barrier to protect the cell against various environmental insults. Two fatty acids chains, which are glycerol molecule and phosphate group for the head, and saturated and unsaturated for the tail. Proteins. Proteins make up the second major component of the cell membrane. Membrane proteins are classified by shape and their positions within the phospholipids bilayer and function. A membrane protein may be integral or peripheral. An integral protein extends into the lipid bilayer and may protrude from one or both sides. If it extends through both sides, it is called transmembrane protein. A peripheral protein associates with one side of the bilayer. Rather than being embedded within it, it is often attached to a transmembrane protein and to the cytoskeleton. Its functions are some form receptors on the cell surface that bind chemical messengers, such as hormones, growth factors, or neurotransmitters, starting signal transduction, and pores, channels, or carriers, enzymes, or cell surface proteins, and cellular adhesion molecules. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the third major component of the cell membrane. They are always found on the exterior surface of the cell membrane and are bound either to proteins forming glycoproteins or to the lipids forming glycolipids. The cell membrane carbohydrates chains may consist of 2 to 60 monosaccharide units and can be either straight or branch. Carbohydrates form special sites on the cell surface that allow cells to recognize each other. Cholesterol. Cholesterol is a stereolipid and is made of multiple carbon rings and hydrocarbon chains. It's smaller than the phospholipids and fits in between them in the cell membrane. Amphiphile and amphipathic. The hydrodex group of cholesterol molecule is hydrophilic, which are able to fit in with the hydrophilic heads, and the carbon rings are inflexible and hydrophobic, and sit in between the tails of the phospholipids. The main role of cholesterol in the cell membrane is to provide structure and support to the membrane. Thank you, and this is my reference for my homework.